was going to say good morning, but it's good afternoon. Just a very quick live stream, and partly to promote tonight's live stream that's going to be happening at 7 o'clock, where I've got Ricky Doolan. Ricky Doolan's a lad from the town where I was brought up, Middlesbrough, and he is going to be speaking about his new movement, which is going to be called British Lives Matter. And he launched that last week. He's got a great following on Twitter already, and just want to hear what he's got to say about it, what it's all about. But I think he's just a bit hacked off with all the virtue signaling about Black Lives Matter. So he's launched a project called British Lives Matter. What I want to do very quickly, and let me just have a look. If there's people on here, let me know. Because there we go. That's great. We've got 31 people on. So I want to show a video that I found yesterday of Piers Morgan, or should we say Piers Moron. Morning, Patriots. Hi, Rob. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Derek. Hi, Matt. So I want to show a video of Piers Moron, or Piers Moron, just absolutely getting destroyed by Dizzee Rascal. Now, I know nothing about Dizzee Rascal. I don't, if you ask me what his music was, I've never listened to it. I'm not into that genre of music, so I don't know anything about him. But what he did yesterday, and I don't know anything about his politics. For all I know, he could be a Black Lives Matter fanatic. I don't know nothing about the man. But what Dizzee Rascal did yesterday was totally destroyed the race baiting Piers Morgan. And I'm going to play this video for you, and we'll break it down a little bit. So just bear with me while I get my head around the technical issues this early in the afternoon. Let's have a look, see if we can find it. So make sure to put the audio on so you can all hear. That's going to be good to go. Right, I'll just make it full screen, so I'll disappear for a little bit, and let's get Dizzee Rascal full screen so you can hear what this fella said to Piers Morgan. Now, you've got to remember, Piers Morgan has spent the last 3 weeks virtue signaling and literally race baiting. And I'll be honest with you, the rhetoric from the mainstream media and the way the mainstream media are portraying events is, I believe, so close to inciting a race war in this country as not to be true. They're actually doing exactly the opposite of what they claim to be doing. They claim to care about racial equality and care about community cohesion. What they are doing, the mainstream media, far left, Antifa, Stand Up to Racism, and Black Lives Matter, are provoking some sort of horrendous conflict. And again, I personally, now this is anecdotal, I don't have stats, I can't prove it, but all the black people that I've spoken to want nothing to do with this. They think it's absolutely crazy what's going on. And I think a lot of people that are caught up in this still to this day don't fully understand what the agenda behind the group called Black Lives Matter is. Now, there's a lot of other videos been done about this, but let's listen to this and see what happened with Piers Morgan, or Piers Moron, and Dizzee Rascal.
Well, could driving concerts be the answer for all those people missing live music? Rapper Dizzee Rascal has signed up to one of these summer gigs, along with others, including Kaiser Chiefs.
I'll fast forward it a wee bit to the bits that are interesting.
Well, but I like the ambition behind this, Dizzee, of actually saying, well, look, we are where we are. We've got to try and make things work. Let's do this.
You can listen to music anywhere, and you can have a party anywhere, man. Come on, so it's good. I'm glad to just be out there again. I've got a new album coming as well, so I'm going to be doing some of that. We've got like 10 songs on the albums, a bunch of people on it. It's coming out around September, so I'm going to be trying some of that out on there, and then all the classics as well. So,
okay, guys, let me just stop that. You want more volume there, guys? Yeah.
Over the summer, because presumably
bear with
your
me,
plans. I know that you perform in Ibiza.
Okay, let's try that. Let's try the other volume as well. Let's make sure everybody can hear this.
Your plans have probably been
how's that, guys?
Restricted,
can you hear that okay?
I've just been working on this album, so I've been up here, like I'm in the studio. It's been amazing. I haven't really let it get to me too tough. It's like, it's a shame that I ain't been able to get out and do all the festival runs or a bunch of shows. I kind of do shows around the world, but at the end of the day,
you can hear that, guys. Yeah,
people's
okay,
health is
that's
more
good.
important.
That's cool.
So we know why they're not on.
The juicy
So,
bits are going to be coming up in a minute, where Piers
matter.
gets
I can
shown
still
for
make
the
it.
Dizzee, let me
absolute
ask you
Here we go. Here we go.
about the Black Lives Matter movement. We saw last night at the football match. We saw a big banner from a plane saying "White Lives Matter," and it caused a lot of offence. And there's a lot of other people this morning saying,
I just want to stop that there, and I just want to. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible, the hypocrisy. I mean, look at that panel there, right? Is, you know, people talk about privilege. Piers Morgan is well, he's not a gazillionaire. He's loads of money. He's stinking rich. He's stinking rich. And how did he get rich? He got rich by working for publications that were involved in phone hacking, that were involved in publishing fake news about British soldiers in Iraq. In fact, he's probably his actions were described by a senior British officer as being a recruiting sergeant for Al Qaeda. And this man has made a fortune out of shouting people down and bullying people and virtue signaling. And he is the epitome of privilege. And yet he says about the White Lives Matter banner. Now, I don't like the phrase White Lives Matter. I don't like the phrase Black Lives Matter. And I get stick from both ends of the spectrum, because to me, all lives matter. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. Every single life matters, and that should be the mantra. And of course, we know that Black Lives Matter is a very, very clever marketing tool that's been designed to spread division and to spread racial hatred. And I have exactly the same opinion about White Lives Matter. However, what that man did when he flew that plane over Burnley Football Club was prove the point that there is complete hypocrisy in the establishment over this. It's completely wrong to say that only Black Lives Matter. It's completely wrong to say that only White Lives Matter. The whole mantra should be all lives matter. But just listen to the reaction of Dizzee Rascal and then the way that Piers Morgan starts, let's be honest, in a very racist manner, berating him. But just let's see what Dizzee Rascal has to say.
saying, well, why is that offensive? Try and articulate to people what Black Lives Matter actually means.
What makes you think I know?
Brilliant. That is absolute genius. I don't know what this guy thinks, and I don't care what he thinks. At the end of the day, he could be Black Lives Matter to the core. I honestly don't know. I don't think he is, by the way he talks. You can tell by the way he's talking. He's going, yeah, you know, he seems to imply that he thinks it's divisive. But let's just hear what he says.
I don't know, because you're a black man.
I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up. You couldn't make this stuff up. Piers Morgan, the one who's been talking for weeks about how wrong racism is, just categorizes that guy because you're a black man. Oh, it's pure comedy gold.
Am I the black spokesperson?
No, I'm just.
Am I the black spokesperson? Piers, what are you doing, you muppet?
Curious if you have a view. Do you not have a view?
Do I have a view? I've got a bunch of views, but it's early, if I'm honest.
Oh, man.
Well, give me some of your views. Come on, your view matters.
I know it does, but today we're talking about the driving, and I hope this ain't a missed opportunity to speak up on a lot of the just badness that's been happening. But it's really nice and sunny outside today, and I can't really be bothered to be onto all of this morning. I brought my afro out, so I know I'm looking all a bit natural and that. So I don't know. That's why you're asking the question. But today,
come on, Dizzee. That's not why I'm asking you the question. Do
you know something? I don't know if anyone remembers. Way back. Whenever there was a punk band back in the 1970s called the Sex Pistols. Now I didn't see it at the time, but I saw the footage when I was a teenager, and there was a TV presenter called Bill Grundy. This is Piers Morgan's Bill Grundy moment. He had the Sex Pistols on, and Bill Grundy, he was a sleazeball. and he was kind of coming on to Susie out of Susie and the Banshees, and the Sex Pistols just let him have it. They just blasted him, and it was like all over the mainstream media, the Sun, the headline was "The Filth and the Fury." I'll maybe do a video on that at some point. It'd definitely be 18 rated, but it was pure gold, because it was just smashing the establishment. And this is Piers Morgan's Bill Grundy moment. This is Piers Morgan's having Steve Jones swearing at him moment. But in fact, to be honest with you, Dizzee Rascal does a far better job than Steve Jones did. And yeah, it's absolutely pure gold. Let's just carry on with it.
Question. You're a high profile black man in this country.
You're a high profile black man. Since when did skin color matter that much? You're a high profile black man. That is one of the most derogatory, racist comments I think I've ever heard. And this is the man that's championing Black Lives Matter. And he probably hasn't ever bothered to read the Black Lives Matter website, where he'd find out that the opinions expressed on the Black Lives Matter website have very, very little to do with helping stop racism. In fact, quite the opposite. Anyone with half a brain will realize that what Black Lives Matter are doing will lead to more racism and more division. Of course, that's what they want, because they're Marxist. They're Marxist, and they want to see division. And they're supremacists, and they want to sow division and chaos. But I mean, it's just incredible that he's got away with this, and that nobody's called him to account.
And it's a huge issue, and has been a huge news story for 4 weeks.
You know what? I watched.
Now, just listen to what Dizzee Rascal says. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
You want to tell you never let no one speak. Look, I'm not the one. You're not going to do this to me, mate. Not this morning.
You never let anyone speak. I mean, he's totally got the measure of Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan is feeling so uncomfortable. And look at Susanna with her little patronizing smile. You know, those two people there are trying to patronize this guy, Dizzee Rascal. I don't know who he is. I genuinely, I know he's a pop star, but I don't know anything about his music. I don't know anything about his politics. But they are patronizing him because they thought they'd get him on, and they thought they could score a point and say, there we go. We've got all these superstars backing Black Lives Matter. But Dizzee Rascal's having none of it.
So let's keep it calm. I'm just saying, yeah, I've got a bunch of views, but right now, it's not the time.
Okay, well, I respect that. You don't have to talk about it, obviously. I just wanted to give you the opportunity.
Now Piers is getting prickly. Now Pierce's little pride bubble has been burst, and he's getting upset with Dizzee Rascal, because Dizzee Rascal isn't playing the race game. He's just not playing. He's not playing by the rules that Piers wants him to play.
If you wanted to.
I can personally take any opportunity I want when I want.
Yeah, of course.
Because of social media. But right now, it's real early, and it's just going to cause a bunch of whatever unnecessary. And we're just here to talk about this beautiful thing where everyone can come together in their cars and rave together, regardless of their color, creed, size, or whatever's different about them.
What about that? You know, at last somebody's saying it. People can come together, irrespective of their color or creed. Why don't we hear more of this? Why is all that we're hearing on GMB? Because I'll tell you what, you can absolutely, yeah, Rudy Giuliani did him as well. Rudy Giuliani made him look like an absolute mug. And Dizzee Rascal has done it to be fair, Dizzee Rascal, he's done it a lot calmer and more measured way than Rudy Giuliani did. And I mean, Rudy Giuliani was quite rightly really, because Pierce was attacking and insulting him completely unjustifiably. But what does Dizzee Rascal say? I want people to come together, irrespective of color or creed. Perfect.
Fair enough. I think that's completely fair enough. I think you're perfectly entitled to say that. And I don't want to force you to obviously say anything if you're concerned about doing it this early in the morning. You
can't force me.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. You can't force me. That's exactly what people need to say to that guy. Because let's be honest, we've seen the way that Piers Morgan lets the narrative go in a certain way. If he doesn't like the narrative, He bullies the people. He shouts them down. He tried to do it with Tommy. In fact, to be quite honest, so many people have made Piers Morgan look like a complete mug. Tommy did it when he waved the Quran above his head and said, "This is a cursed book," and Piers Morgan literally had to change his underpants because because he could just see his neck basically being sliced by a jihadi. You know, the man's a coward. He's a moral coward. He's an opportunist. And I think his agenda, I'm going to make a prediction, right? I'm going to make a prediction about Piers Morgan, as I call him. I believe that he will end up standing for political office within the next 10 years. I think he wants to be prime minister because I tell you what, he has used his influence to push narratives on so many different issues, and the government are stupid enough to pander to this sort of pathetic, sniveling crook. And yeah, having a heart attack. Indeed, he did have a heart attack when Tommy was waving that that Quran above his head, saying it's a cursed book. Piers was not a happy bunny, was he? He wasn't happy at all. So let's just watch the end of what Dizzee Rascal says, and then
I've got no intention of forcing you.
I don't.
You reacted very aggressively to a very polite question. I'll just ask.
I have watched that entire interview, and I think I've watched it 3 or 4 times now. There's absolutely nothing aggressive about Dizzee Rascal. The only aggressive person there is Piers Morgan, who is patronising, and so Susanna, they're patronising. Now think about this. I genuinely don't care what colour Dizzee Rascal is. It doesn't bother me one way or the other. But let's be honest. If we're going to play this race baiting game, which these people seem intent on playing, Piers and Susanna are patronising a black man there. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. The hypocrisy of this is astounding. And this is right the way through the whole movement. The hypocrisy and the lack of analysis of what is going on in this country by the mainstream media. The only people who are doing this are the independent YouTubers, independent media. Nobody in the mainstream media is challenging this crazy narrative and actually sitting down and saying, what's all this about? Where's this coming from? Who's behind it? And when the left and the mainstream media and all these people are political activists. That's all they are. Piers Morgan is just a political activist. He's left wing. So Susanna Reid. And when they get called out, doesn't matter who you are, they'll come against you. And I can guarantee, I bet you Dizzee Rascal ain't on GMB Good Morning Britain for a long time.
You what you think?
This is what happens as well. I've become the aggressive black man. Hey, leave me alone.
Brilliant. Pure genius. Look at Piers. Oh dear, Piers, what have you done? What have you done, you absolute idiot, you complete moron.
You have not become the aggressive black man.
There's Piers shouting at him. No, you're the aggressive white man, Piers. How's that? How's the equality going for you now, Piers? Not looking too good, is it, mate?
I told you. I just wanted to be nice. Look how he's behaving.
Dizzee, come on. Dizzee, come on. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
You know what? You know you need on here? A caller. Big up a caller. You'll get a...
Yes, we've spoken to a caller.
You know
on
what?
the
We've had a caller on the show. He's fantastic. I think he's brilliant. I think you're brilliant. So let's not fall out.
No, we're not going to fall out. But that's the spokesman for something sensible. I'm not going to say anything just that... I'm gonna just piss off both sides. So let's just leave it.
When you mentioned it was early in the morning, that's one of the things we can't say. So we're just...
Oh, there we go. School mom Susanna telling off the black man for saying piss off. Really? And you guys are the champions of equality? You absolute morons. Mainstream media, complete mugs. And that's what people are watching. And I'm glad. Look, and like I say, I haven't got a clue about Dizzee Rascal. I don't know what he believes, but he made those two look like the absolute mugs that they are, because they've been virtue signaling and race baiting and stirring up the trouble and winding people up and condemning someone for flying a plane over over Burnley, well, at the same time, they're not condemning anybody for using an equally divisive statement. Black Lives Matter is divisive. White Lives Matter is divisive. I've been consistent on this right from the beginning. Why can't people just say all lives matter? Why can't people just get back to that situation that I thought we were all at, where we said, you know something, there's one race, it's the human race, which is what Martin Luther King Jr. believed, or he said he believed. And there's nothing that I've seen that would dispel that. But no, these people have made themselves look like the mugs that they are. So guys, like and share this, get this out there. Show Piers Morgan and Susanna Reid to be the race baiters that they are.
Just to say apologies for that particular word, but
Dizzee, let me ask you a question.
Dizzee.
Let me ask you a question. I
wish we were in Ibiza. That's all I can say.
Doesn't cause you even more offence. But let me ask you this: you were born Dylan Mills. How did you get the name Dizzee Rascal? I really want to know.
I originally called myself Dizzee, and I can't remember why. And then I was in school. I acted up a little bit when I was younger. And when I went into class one day, and the teacher said, "You're such a rascal," and I liked the name. So then I tried to change my name to Rascal, but people were still calling me Dizzee, so I just put the two together. Right?
Who still calls you Dylan Mills? Anybody?
Whoever wants to. Some people make a point of calling me Dylan Mills to let me know that they know my name is Dylan Mills.
Again, Piers just been totally mugged off and made to look like a complete fool. What a complete and utter moron. Vile, just a vile, toxic person. And the damage, I mean, I've showed you that video there. Just stop it there. I've showed you that video there just to prove a point. And the point is very, very simple. That man is creating havoc in this country. Unfortunately, people in authority are listening to that man. You know, I'll be honest with you, the lockdown, which is, I'm sure many other people are in the same sort of situation as I am. I haven't got a clue what my employment status is going to be after this lockdown's open. It's decimated the industry I work in, and Piers Morgan was to a great extent the architect of the lockdown, because there's people in government and there's people in the civil service, obviously, who think that he has far more influence than he should. So yeah, Piers Morgan is a first-class knob jockey. That's absolutely true. Reverting to mockery. It's all he's got left. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Marxist. Steve, I tell you what, mate, do me a favor. Post some links that are properly sourced to back that up, because if that's true, I'd like to read about that and find out if that's correct. So Steve, yeah, if someone posts something here, I'm not just going to ignore it. If that's the case, I want to see that, because if Martin Luther King Jr. was a Marxist, well then maybe I need to reevaluate what I think about Martin Luther King Jr. I didn't think he was a Marxist, but by all means, post that in a comment there, mate, and I'll have a look at that. The FBI, yeah, just post it, mate. Just get the sources and post them in the comments, mate, because what I need to do is see the sources. I don't have time to go chasing about for the stuff, but please do, mate. Please post that in the comments. That's absolutely fine. Why does he feel the need to bring up his real name? Exactly. You know what Piers Morgan was doing there was trying to patronize this guy, and he was talking down to him, and it's absolutely scandalous that he's basically doing that. Now tonight, like I say, we've got a live feed coming on tonight at 7 o'clock. Ricky Doolan, and Ricky's going to be talking about British Lives Matter. I think it's a brilliant project. I want to hear what he's got to say about it, and there'll be no baiting of anybody on our channel tonight, because the bottom line is that's interesting. Muhammad Ali Jr. is totally against Black Lives Matter. That's very, very interesting, because again, Muhammad Ali was involved with the Nation of Islam. That's why he changed his name, wasn't it, from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. again, with the whole situation, with what's happening in the country at the moment, I don't know about you guys as viewers, but I've been totally blindsided by this. I did not expect us to be sitting in a situation where racial tensions and racial prejudice seems to be getting pushed back to levels that I've never seen in my life. And it'd be just interesting to see how all this pans out. I mean, I think what we've got to do is we've got to all work together with people of goodwill on all sides, and try and get this genie of race baiting put back in the bottle. A Christian kingdom, British, the people of the covenant, Britain, the land of the covenant. Could be wrong, but I think Ali turned against it. Did he? Yeah, I mean, again, if you've got information on that, post the links in the comments, because other people, other people can then look at it. Have you seen Muhammad Ali? Yeah, I have, Steve. That was the one, Muhammad Ali Senior, where he did the interview with Parkinson, and as I remember, it was very, very inflammatory. Watch out for the next trauma-based terror towards the human race. There'll be something else that blindsides you. Listen, do you know something? I'll be honest with you. I thought I was unshockable, but this one totally caught me by surprise. I didn't see it coming. But again, obviously the left had been planning this for a long, long time. Guys, anyway, okay, 7 o'clock tonight, I'll be on with Ricky Doolan. But I just thought that was a very, very interesting point of view that Dizzee Rascal had. And like I say, I don't know anything about the guy, but I think he just absolutely made mincemeat of Piers Morgan. And anyone who does that gets a thumbs up from me. So like and share this video all over the place, guys. We've got to keep this fight going. We've got to keep the fight for common sense and for the principles that I hold dear, and I believe most of the viewers hold dear, that we want a society that is not based on the color of one's skin, but is really based on the contents of the character. And that's where I thought we were at. But boy, the stuff that's going on at the minute is, to say the least, a little bit worrying. Yeah, we've gone back 10 years at least, Tony, without a shadow of a doubt. Right, William, yes, see you all tonight, and 7 o'clock, Ricky Doolan, and let's like and share the video, like and share the cast tonight, and let's get a good crowd on there and see what Ricky's got to say, and hopefully his British Lives Matter is going to be a bit of a counter to all the other nonsense that's going on. See you all soon.